not going to help her develop that strength. It's kind of like, as a personal trainer, I also do the fitness thing, and being a trainer and an instructor for years, I've observed the same thing. People come in, like I've had like guys come to my yoga and they're like, oh, I'm not flexible at all. I suck at this. And I'm like, you know what? You're in the perfect place then. Because if you suck at yoga and you suck at being flexible, what better place to be? Because the whole point of coming to yoga and the whole purpose is to cultivate flexibility. It's to cultivate more self-love. So if your ego is saying you suck, probably a great idea that you're here learning how to love yourself. But we have to see that our egos make our choices sometimes, and then they say, oh, I suck at that, let's go. And now there's no chance that you're going to cultivate flexibility. There's no chance you're going to cultivate that self-love because you just walked away from the very experience that could help you with that. So when we're in that place where we're comparing to others and even comparing to ourselves, we could have been awesome at something, or, you know, we look back in the past, like when I was 20, man, I was awesome, but now I suck. And so we're comparing to ourselves, and we have this fantasy of the old self, and we'll create suffering there. Or a lot of younger people I observe, they worry and stress too much about the future, and so they're constantly in anxiety about their future experience, and that takes away from their being able to enjoy the now, the present moment. So we were talking about this self-love experience, and this was the theme. And I'm like, you know, I feel like so much in my life has helped me to really understand this so that I can be a leader and express this truth to everyone, not because of theory or because it just sounds good, but from actual experience and from actual meditation and processing and self-love and clearing myself and coming into that place where I understand that no matter what happens, and the world can be mean, and there can be people who can show up in your movie to test the shit out of you. But if you can respond with love, you are going to succeed no matter what is happening. And so let's say someone's heckling you and they're bullying you, cyberbullying. That's a pretty big thing these days. People bullying, they're saying mean things. And that person can take that personally. They can feel crappy. They can worry about what everyone else thinks, and they can suffer greatly. Or they can observe that, speak their truth about it, and say, you know, maybe get on there and they're in their warrior bit like, hey, this is really not cool. And I'd really appreciate if people would show honor. And if not, I'm going to clear you out of my friend list. And that's self-love. That is actually having a boundary. If you're in your house and there's people that you let stay in your house and they treat you terribly, they're not respectful, there may come a day where you're like, you know, I invited you in with love. You can't show love back. That's cool. And I'm going to honor you in that choice. But you need to go somewhere else and be like that, because that's not going to, it doesn't feel good to me and it doesn't feel loving. That's teaching that person through your alignment a healthy boundary. And a lot of people that are abusive, they don't understand boundaries because there's no such thing. If you've been abused, you were basically taught that there's no such thing as boundaries. People can do whatever they want to you, or if you're the abuser, you've been taught and believe you can do whatever you want to other people. So how do we deal with that? Because in my life, it has not been perfect. And in my life, I have been bullied, I've been heckled, I've been sexually molested, I've been beaten. True story, all that stuff I've gone through. But why am I still smiling, and why am I showing up so optimistic? Why am I now a spiritual leader that helps empower others? Because I learned how to show up with love no matter what's happening. So let's say that somebody says really hateful things to you and they're texting you negative stuff. You can respond and go hateful right back and get vengeful, like, oh, well, you're a bitch too. And you like say mean stuff. Usually you don't feel so good. And it really upsets you. You might feel physical sensations, like your body shakes. You feel short breath. You're tense. That frustration builds. But if we can choose a different direction, when someone shows hate, observe their behavior, observe what's going on, and realize this one important thing. When a human is lashing out at you, I don't care who they are. If they're lashing out and they're saying hateful things to you, they are at war with themselves. They are at battle with their own mind and their own experience, and they are projecting that anger and that fear and that tension, hatred, whatever it is, they're projecting it outward, and you happen to be in the path. So if you can learn not to take it personal, but respond with love, and love responds very differently. This is the part where we have to become very connected to ourselves and very centered in the now. Because sometimes love will say, walk away from this experience, or move away from this energy, move away from this human. And sometimes love will say, go closer, hug that human, go express greater love to that human. And it's not a rigid thing. It's not always going to be the same answer. So I can't really tell any of you what you should do on any given moment. I can give you suggestions. As an intuitive healer, I'll give my clients suggestions and I'll tune in intuitively to what I observe. But when it comes down to it, each of you have to take back your power and you have to get present. You have to stop worrying about the future so much and stop worrying about the past so much, living in regret, living in shame, guilt. Totally going to keep you deeply anchored in that heavy energy. But if we can show up with love, someone says something hateful, and then I look at them and go, they must really be struggling. And sometimes when this happens to me personally, I'll kind of pull away, go on a walk, or go into meditation in my room and just be quiet. And I'll say, angels, what's going on here? Like, this is not feeling good. And they'll help me understand it. They'll bring me clarity. They'll say, this person's hurting very deeply, and it would be best for you to send them love, but release them from your sacred space. Or they'll say things like, this human's hurting deeply, and the loss of you is causing them great pain. You just need to send them love, but you are on the right path, and you need to keep going in this direction where you love yourself. Do not feel guilty and go backwards. So my angels will tell me very different suggestions of a direction that I can choose. But what I've learned is when I don't respond with hatred back, I'm successful. I keep my own alignment. So when someone says something hateful to me and I want to get hateful back, I really become the energy and I vibrationally am matching their frequency of disruption. And now it kind of pulls me into that same energy. But if I see them hurting and I rise anyways and I send them love and I'm like, I love you and I wish the best for you, but I will not tolerate your abuse. And when you're ready, I'll be here. And until then, I won't be in your realm of energy. I will move myself away because I love myself. And sometimes to people I've observed in my life, when I pull away from their energy, they are angry and they get more hateful, more judgmental. But what I realize, and this is where I talk about the sacredness of the dance, it's a slow, steady process. What I've realized is when I pull away and I honor my own alignment and I stay true to myself, if that human or that situation is meant to be in my life, they will go and work on themselves and heal at some level, and they will find a way to come back. And usually they're kind of like, Tanya, I'm so sorry. I was so out of alignment. Can you please forgive me? I would like to have another chance. And I accept that and I forgive them unconditionally. But I'm not going to be a doormat for people. And this is something that we have to balance. Like, how do we love ourselves and how do we love others? And the people that I've seen, and when I was younger, what I did is I would love others so much. I'd want them to approve of me so deeply that I would ignore my own needs. And then I would feel like a hypocrite and I would feel weak and not powerful because I would stay around their hate and I'd stay around their negativity. And I feel like, honestly, how we teach others how to love more is by showing them through our example. So we're not going to teach others how to love when we stay tolerating their abuse. We're not going to teach others how to love and how to have healthy boundaries when we stay attached codependently to people that don't show us honor. The way we're going to help assist them is by loving ourselves, rising wherever source is calling us to rise to, and trusting that whoever is really for our highest good will come into our movie. So the people that are the helpers, the clients, the friends, the family, you'll start to draw in a higher frequency of beings. And this is where we have to be really mindful that we're not attached, because maybe I had a year ago the clients I was working with, I may not be working with any of them now, or maybe just a couple. And as a healer, what I have observed, and not even a healer, I am a healer, but as a human being, what I've observed in every way is that whoever is for your highest good to be in your movie will come in, show up with love for self and for them, and keep expanding. So if we stop thinking that, oh, I must have done something wrong because that person doesn't hang out with me anymore, or I need to attach and codependently manipulate this best friend because they're not doing what I think they should do, we will have such a better loving experience when we love ourselves and trust that whatever is for our highest good is coming to us now, and whatever is no longer necessary or no longer serving us is fading away. And we don't have to cry, and we don't have to be angry. We don't have to say hateful things because someone knows they need to go in a new direction. We don't, like as a healer, I don't have to attach my clients and guilt trip them for not coming to an event if they haven't been in a while, because I understand they are on their own journey, and they may at times feel so drawn to my energy, and they're drawn to that light, they're drawn to the truth, they want to heal, they want to come back to their own alignment. And at other times I've had clients that are like, oh, she's intense, like she's not going to play my victim game, and she actually expects me to show up, and she expects me to have honor for myself. She has a lot of like high expectation of integrity here. I don't really think I'm ready for that. I'm going to go back over here, hang out with these people that, you know, maybe we get drunk and high together, and there's not as much calling to come into alignment. And that's something we need to not take personal. If you're a woman, let's say, and you have a husband that's an addict, and he keeps going around his addict friends, and he keeps choosing to listen to his woundedness, and he keeps choosing to suffer through that addiction, don't take that personal, but do love yourself and do set healthy boundaries, because until he's ready to heal, he's showing you he's not honoring you by doing that. So if we're attached and codependent, we stay anchored to these heavy energies, and then we become angry, we become hateful, and we want to fight them back. And I think that, you know, like when we talk about this marriage thing, there's a lot of people that they're on like a team. And I think one of the ways we know that we're in alignment is when we're not playing the them against us game. If I'm saying like, it's all about them and they're wrong and I am right, we're playing the them us game, and that's creating separation. But if I show up with unconditional love, I can understand and have compassion for this human that is so fearful of allowing someone to be gay in their midst because they've been taught how wrong that is and that it's evil. And I can have compassion for that and compassion for the place where they are. I can also see that it's not causing them joy. It's not helping assist with love, and it's not of a higher vibration. So I can observe that, but I don't need to hate them back. I honestly don't feel like if we all pay attention, we'll realize that doesn't help us to heal anything. If we're hating each other because they're not doing it the way we think they should do it, instead love them. So here's the thing. When we show up in any situation, someone's hateful to me, Tanya, you suck. You think you're a healer. You suck as a healer. Blah, blah. They're saying stuff. And I'm listening. I'm observing like, whew, what is this? Observing. Okay, go into meditation, processing. And this is where meditation is so vital. We get quiet. We go into our innermost self, and we tune into higher self, the higher aspect of our awareness. And we process and we discern the energy. We come up with understanding, greater awareness. Now I know how to respond to the situation. And we'll eventually learn how to move in a moving meditation to where you don't even need to go lay down and close your eyes. You can just stay present 24/7, conscious and awake and aware everywhere you are, observing. And you don't have to take their hate personally. You can respond with love. So someone could be saying hateful things, and this happens to me. This has happened and I don't have that happen to me much, but when these times have happened, I speak truth to that person of what I'm observing going on in them. I tell them, you are love. I hope that you will remember that you are love and that you are light, that you are loved and supported. But I feel that this energy that you are projecting on me is not healthy, and I will not tolerate that in my sacred space. So I pull my energy away. I express my boundary. They choose what they need to choose from there. And they may still think I'm their enemy because that's what's going on in them. But I show up with love, and then I love myself. I don't go in and shame myself and go, oh, Tanya, you suck. Like, people are going to not trust you because there's people saying stuff. Like, what if they don't